Welcome, everyone. I know the podcast where we argue about the mundane. We're here again in Troy.
We're back in Troy.
We're back in Troy.
Back in Troy.
I'm here with my lovely producer back all the way across the pond to join us once again in his home. Brendan, what's up, Brendan?
Hello.
And I'm here with my brother, Chris.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? If you're listening, thanks for listening. We appreciate you. This episode of Everyone I Know is brought to you by Audible.com. If you want a free audiobook and trial membership to Audible.com, you can go to audibletrial.com/EIK. I just finished book 7 of The Expanse. Started book 8. It's very good. You should listen to it. It's a great Amazon show as well. Highly recommend it. But if you don't want to get an audiobook and you want to support us in a different way, how can you do that, Andy?
You can go to patreon.com/everyone I know because we hate Jeff Bezos and we hope he dies.
Yeah, no, he's not a great guy.
I
wish I could stop using his products and his services.
He owns us all, doesn't he?
He really does.
Oh,
boy.
boy.
Like I'm getting AWS training right now.
Love it.
Just to better my career. But hey, what are you going to do?
Yeah. We've got little statues and candles, so if you want those, you can hit us up, and we'll make it possible. And
you still owe like a bunch of people stuff.
Don't say it on air. They'll think we're bad Patreon. We're a great Patreon.
I take that back. Everybody has their stuff, and everybody's...
It's just Sheepdog Radio...
And Elena.
Yeah. I can make that happen today.
All right.
And I really
Wonder where your mouth is.
We have the pleasure of having a new and interesting guest on the podcast. We've had musicians. We've had artistes.
We've had lots of very uninteresting guests.
How dare you? And we've had...
Every single guest has been interesting, Brendan. Thank you very much.
Most of them are close friends. But we have a honest-to-goodness poet on the podcast this week. We have Ian Max. What's up, Ian?
What's good? Thanks for having me, guys.
I made you a little song, and I will now play it. There we go.
One of these days, you'll get that transition. I don't know how it
so
works.
Silky smooth.
I don't know how it works, but one day you'll get it.
Don't talk over my song.
Sounds like Nintendo.
The computer made this song.
Final boss.
Yeah, it is kind of a final boss.
That's actually really awesome. One of the biggest reasons why in high school everybody thought that I was like this like hipster, like I don't want to say like Oreo because like that's what a lot of people are like coming at me with up here, but like I was into glitch hop like a lot.
Oh, nice.
I was reading like Pitchfork reviews when I was in like 10th, 11th grade, like listening to Subterranean like a shit ton when I was in like middle school and high school. So like my growing up music is kind of like Young Montana and like weird, obscure, like glitchy, like Duke Dumont and like very like Kitsune, like Friendly Fire's indie disco type. So
Nice,
like the
nice.
whole 8-bit with that was actually pretty on point.
Thank you.
I knew some of those words. Ian, tell us about yourself, man. What do you do?
I am currently a food service front of house worker. I've kind of just been like bouncing around. Before that, I had done AmeriCorps for 2017 through 2018. I was volunteering out in Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Oh, good
cool.
for you.
Very cool, man.
Doing ELA tutoring for 6th through 9th grade at Great Oaks Charter School in Bridgeport, Connecticut. So that was like a year of a lot of doubt and like wondering what I was doing with my life, because before that I was working at Starbucks and doing what I view as like my passion, which is writing poetry and kind of like being an artist, you know, if you will, in that sense.
Cool.
Hey, you gotta pay the bills, you know.
Yeah.
Dude, such a struggle.
Yeah,
like
man.
my mom was always like starving artist, and I'm just like, I get it.
Yep.
I feel it. I don't have health insurance. Yep, that's me. Fuck, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have day jobs too.
Yep. Yeah, no, we have to have to work for fucking 9 hours in an office every day.
Gotta shovel that coal, that digital coal.
Making sure people get their boxes from Walmart.com. But moving on. If you're new to the podcast, if you're new to the podcast, every week our father sends us an email recapping last week's episode. For the last 2 weeks, I've had to read it. I'm not good at reading out loud, but
That's why we brought Ian on.
Oh,
We're a pro-literacy podcast. We're just trying to hope that you will one day learn to read out loud.
No, go to audibletrial.com/EIK and get fucking audiobook.
As a poet, like, I even struggle to read. It's so easy to just, like, scroll and, like, lose your whole mental thought process.
But yeah, we call it the Old Man Minute. I can't read. Brendan can. Brendan is back, and he's going to read us the Old Man Minute.
Hello, EIK fellas. I pray that Brendan is back and Nicole didn't run away with Hamish Montgomery because Chris really can't read out loud.
Nope.
As I recall, Chris,
already hit
I
on
never
that.
dropped you on your head as a child. Vader has
There
been
we go.
suspiciously quiet on the topic. Well, ladies, let's do it. Everyone's a critic. Bodega Booze. In your second installment of Everyone's a Masochist, you've decided to poison your bodies with shitty quote-unquote beer. What's next? Dining on Ebola-infected bandages? We already did that. That was the Applebee's
Yeah,
episode.
it was Applebee's.
Oh, got him.
Or maybe shoving hungry ferrets up your ass. Guys, you need more wholesome
Called
hobbies.
felching. It's a real thing.
Well, you did this, so I'll respond. In my younger day, I drank all types of less than excellent beer. I remember Ballantine Ale. It was commonly served at the old Alcoholics bar
That was
along
one of the
James
beers
Street
we
in
had.
Cornhill. We were underaged and just delighted to be served. I also had Steel Reserve and Mad Dog, but not the variants you described.
Good God.
The highest alcohol beer at the time was Maximus Super.
Whoa, can we get some of that?
Also a Roman emperor.
Yo, with my last name is Max, like, can I get that?
Matt brewed it, and it was 8.9% alcohol. It got the job done quickly.
Yeah.
In the middle 90s, I was in a dart league with 3 friends from Sequoia.
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 Oh, upstate New York names.
The other 3 had tap systems. I had to buy beer. One night I decided to go ghetto and bought 40 ounces from Cito. I had Colt 40.
Sito, that's our grandmother.
What
Yeah,
the
he-
fuck does that even mean? Like, go ghetto?
I had Colt 45 malt liquor, Old English 800, Steel Reserve 211, Budweiser, Pabst Blue Ribbon, et al. And just to strike the right mood, I served them in those brown paper bags Cito had just for 40s. You know, for drunks on the move. We all drank at least 2 of these bad boys, each of which is about a 6-pack. Mercifully, one wife was the designated driver, and all ended well. I like the coffee-flavored coffee. I really like the fucking beer-flavored beer. This is what is
Dennis
called
Yo,
a
Whose
teachable
whose
moment.
man's is this? Like,
This is our
This is our
dad.
father.
Love, old man.
yeah, this is the email from. Oh God.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm sorry. Continue.
Escape and Evade wins the day again. Uncle Rick and I got out of going to Beautiful this weekend and at the Stanley with Vader. Aunt Teresa and Susan and Greg. It was a close call.
Did you just say aunt?
Aunt.
Aunt.
That's crazy.
Do you say aunt?
I say
Yeah,
aunt.
aunt.
No, aunt.
Aunt. No, it's
Yeah.
aunt.
That's a downstate thing.
Okay.
It is a downstate thing.
Very
As
cool.
someone who lived in New York City before moving up here at 10 years old in 2003, that is a downstate thing.
It is?
It is.
Oh, cool.
My mom's
Finding our
from,
regional
my mom's from
accents.
Queens.
I call.
I'm allowed to say
like,
it.
I was born in Brooklyn, raised in the Bronx until I was 10. So I call my aunts.
Interesting.
Fair enough.
I
yeah.
always wonder about like what the upstate accent is.
We put a lot of S's on stuff.
We put S's on stuff. I find that I like drawl out words. I don't know if it's just because we've like been saying nonsense words on podcasts for 2
Yeah.
years and just being like dipshits all the time.
That's definitely part of it.
Yeah, I think it's part of it.
I've
but,
had
like,
to learn how to talk slower.
Yeah, Nicole
you
gets
guys,
on my
you
shit.
guys talk so much slower than like people in the city.
We've got
Nicole
places
gets
to
on
go.
me bad. Nicole gets on me for because.
Because
Yeah,
nice.
because. And my mom, though, says like some crazy shit. Like cockroaches.
Cockroach.
Yeah.
She's
Radiator. That's one of
It's
Julie's.
got some twang to it.
Yeah.
Radiator.
She says water once in a while.
Water.
This is
Water.
water.
Yeah, Julia will pull out a water every once in a while.
Yep.
All right. Without further ado, we're moving on now to topic number one. All right. Topic number 1 is me today. And since, for the listening audience home, I know Ian through Dan Pialetti. I put up a help wanted ad on Facebook. I said, who's cool in this capital district? Send them my way. And he suggested Ian. And so this is not everyone I know right now. This is everyone I'm getting to know.
Ooh.
I thought of that
mystery.
earlier today.
That's pretty good.
Okay, so what I wanted to talk about, because Ian's a poet, and I read some of Ian's poetry,
I did too.
I would like to know how you express yourself, and namely how you express feelings, and not necessarily positive feelings all the time.
This actually goes back to when I was born. So I was born kind of like an accident. My mom, her doctor told her that her uterine lining was like too weak to have kids.
Okay.
But I still showed up through my dad, and like my mom and my dad were kind of like on and off, and like my mom had just gotten out of a divorce. So I kind of just magically appeared, and
You're a miracle.
and I'm a miracle, but I'm not talking, and I wasn't talking when everyone else was talking. So,
Okay.
My mom, being an occupational therapist, she was like, "Okay, what's going on with my son?" And they were like, "Your son's on the spectrum."
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't like a ADD, like blanket diagnosis. They were like PDD, NOS, like he's not talking, but like he's intellectually fine. Like I was reading on eighth grade
what
level
does PDD,
in first
NOS
grade.
stand for?
Persuasive developmental disorder, not otherwise stated.
Okay.
So basically, it's kind of like a myriad of like all these symptoms that like harken back to like Asperger's and ADHD and like ADD, but it doesn't really have like a name to it because like
finite.
it's not really something that's like regular. It kind of just was like one of those things that like they couldn't put a thing on. So I was able to like read young adult books at like first grade, but like I couldn't speak or like have comprehensive like social skills to like say like, hey, like you want to play on the playground or some shit. So I think like being in a position where you have to use like you're good. I'm glad that I caught that.
Sorry, dude.
I think being put in a position where you have to kind of be forced to communicate through other means and not really be able to speak and sort of feel an alienation and not feel like you're not a typical person. And you're spending every day like at like therapy sessions for like speech therapy and like social skills and stuff. I wasn't able to like communicate properly with like the people that I loved and cared about. And I think that was the main reason why I started writing, especially when I was going through hardships in my life. Around
because
like
it's easier to write than to speak sometimes.
Oh, definitely. I think that you're able to capture so much more of an image and like so much more of a picture than like texting someone or like explaining someone like through like, oh, like this is just a story that I happen. I try to do everything that I write, and everything that I put out there through my passion with like a purpose, because like you're wasting everyone else's time. Like they're trying to fend for themselves, just like myself and you and like everybody in life. Like it's tough out here, but as long as I can like relate to someone on the day to day and like just tell them that like I'm dealing with these same type of emotions and feelings, and if you can like find like some relation to that and like like be able to cry. Like I've seen veterans cry at like my readings, and like I've seen people like who I wouldn't even expect to like just break down or like just be like, dude, like your poetry like just hits on this level, and
that's great.
It's humbling, at 26, like I kind of feel like an old soul, but I'm like, I'm still so young, and I just hope to like produce better than what I already have, and just keep reaching, because like the times always change and like shit always changes. So like as an artist, like we have to be ready for that and always be ready to adjust and like be willing to like network with people like Dan Pauletti, who I hadn't been in contact with for like 2 years. I came back in the area, my girlfriend and I were at his garage sale, and literally like he was going to interview me for the band that I was in, but we broke up like right before we were going to play our EP release show. And I was going to interview with him for a zine, and like we had done the questions and like everything, and it just like fell through because like our band was like not together anymore. So like we were able to like link it up and like reconnect like that, and I'm gonna be playing B-side, and
Nice.
and that's like pretty dope for me, because like it's been tough to get readings around here, and especially like just being someone who's young and like a minority as well, like it's difficult up here like without a car, like CDTA is CDTA for like what it is, and like you know, I'm trying to pay bills, you know, I'm trying to just be an adult, and being able to reach people, whether it's through like a poem on Instagram or like, you know, through something that I hopefully can get published that I submit, you know, that's more than like just sitting on my ass, like feeling sorry for myself and like for the position that I'm in.
So do you feel like oftentimes when you're the question that I have is do you use your like let's for example like specifically negative feelings, like if you're feeling upset, if you're feeling sad, you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling anger or something like that, do you find that that is a good fuel for your art? Like do you often find it easy, or do you find it hard to transform that into
It's a double-edged sword, but because that's how I got published, but that's also how I didn't really capitalize on getting published, if you know what I mean. Like,
because it's a little
it can
on
like
its own.
it can consume you, and you can start forgetting about like the life that you're actually living, which is like having a sustainable career and like being like an emotionally stable person to like have a relationship and to be able to balance like doing something that can be vulnerable and like can have you on a teeter-totter emotionally, but being able to like not let that bleed into like your personal life and let that bleed into like your relationships with your family and your friends and your loved ones.
Right.
Because it got to a point where like I gotten published through Bottle Cap off of a chapbook that was a year after I dropped out of ESF, and like the whole chapbook was just me writing and like not drinking, just smoking like a shit ton of weed, but like not drinking because I like interned at my mom's mental health hospital that she works as an OT, and that shit was berserk. And like that's also in like the newest collection that I'm trying to publish with like essays and poems after that got published. But you know, like it was one of those things where I just wrote like every day. I went to the Post and Kill Gorge in Troy. Like my parents were like resenting me for like dropping out of college, and I was just like, I can't.
You got to make yourself busy somehow.
I got to make myself busy because
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell them what's going on. They're not really understanding at the time. You know, they understand it now, but they're feeling like I'm accusing them of like being like shit parents when like they're trying to understand what's going on as well. You know,
Right.
And-
So like
and
any
yeah.
negative stuff in your poetry could
Yeah,
be
you know,
construed
like
as
I
somebody
gave
personally.
them like my poetry, like my chapbook for Christmas when it got published, and like I don't even know if my dad's like still read it. You know, he like read some poems and he was like bye, you know, like
No feelings for me, please.
like my mom read it and she was like, you know, it was sad, you know, like you never want to have your son go through something like so emotionally deep, but I felt like I didn't expect that to get published. You know, I just was like, it was through Facebook groups, alt lit at the time before the whole like misogyny and like all that jazz with that.
I don't even know.
But like basically, long story short, dudes trying to have feelings for like using those feelings to like manipulate women.
Oh.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
Tight.
that's like long story
Love it.
short, like that's basically how like that was game over.
So
in, like,
that
Chicken
that
Ranch.
was like a Facebook group, or was it just
It was
a
just
website?
like it was like a Facebook group for like people who were like online, just like writing their poetry like on
Okay.
Facebook and or like anything to like get their poetry out there, and that's how they were expressing themselves. And it was a publisher who was like C.A. Mullins, who out of St. Louis, and he was just like, dude, I'm starting a publisher company, like. You want to send me some stuff? And I just gathered all the best poems that I'd written, you know, that were like as objective and as universal as possible to describe that experience of like feeling like you're hot shit coming out of high school and like
Right.
knowing everything to like being out of college and like not having a degree and being like, holy fuck, you know, what did I do with my life?
Right.
And like, how did I let like going from like being straight edge out of high school to like drinking out of control and having a fucking beer belly me like out of my ass, you know, and like not letting that defeat me because
Right.
like it's an ordinary problem, but
Right.
like it's not ordinary to actually understand it and be able to like write about it in a way that's relatable and express your emotion, because that could eat someone alive, you know. And I've seen people go through that. I had to move out of an apartment situation where someone was going through that,
Oh, really?
you know, and it's like looking yourself in the mirror, you know, 'cause
Yeah.
it's like so like there's so much pressure to like be able to have a career and like be able to like express yourself in a way that can like pay the bills,
Right.
you know.
So when did you actually start writing? How old were you when you started writing?
I started writing, honestly, like in terms of poetry or like just in general?
Just in general, man. When did you start scribbling?
I kind of started when I was, I'd say like 3, 4, if I'm being generous, maybe even like 2, because without being able to speak, you know, at the time, I kind of had
Right.
to either use ASL which I wish I remembered more of, honestly. But
Dude, I want to learn
Eddie's-
ASL so bad.
Dude, I need to get that
looks
back.
so cool.
Yeah, it's so necessary.
But think about like all the places you could use it. Like you're at a
Yeah.
concert and you can just be like, just do it.
Yeah.
And just talk to people.
But to
Instead
answer
of
your,
yelling in other
to answer your
people's ears.
question, like there was this tool because with the diagnosis that I had, or like any sort of spectrum diagnosis, your penmanship also like goes to shit as well as like your speech. So they had handwriting without tears. So in order to overcome me not being able to communicate through speech, I had to be able to like write at least. So if I had something going on and I needed to tell my parents, like, and I didn't want to sign it, or I was like in need of like medical assistance, I could just write it.
Oh, cool.
Interesting.
And also like kind of write how I'm feeling, like, and kind of communicate or like point to things. There was also like sign tools with my mom being an occupational therapist. There's so many tools for like people not only with those type of developmental disabilities, but like people overcoming traumatic injuries, or any sort of ailment that they have that could like affect their day-to-day life in that regard, not sort of in like the physical sense, but like in the mental and the occupational sense.
So you've talked a lot about you write a lot of poems about post high school, post college, stuff like that. Have you written much about like your experiences as you remember it growing up, having the nonverbal communication stuff like that?
I have tried to write, like I've worked on like some memoir type things that I've tried to build on, but when something like that has like the sort of like stigma that it still does with like like the sort of awareness, like that's something that like I kind of got bullied on just without people even knowing I had to deal with that with my personality, and not listening to like hip hop and like rap and like speaking the way that I speak, and just like little things like that were enough for people to pick on and be like, dude, like is he black? Like, is he not black? To have that already in your conscience, from what you're getting, the last thing I want to do is like give them more of a target to like kind of come at me with. And I think that it's one of those things where it's evolving still. And like my diagnosis isn't even like used anymore. Because like it's just like bridging into other like sort of diagnoses such as like Asperger's and ADHD and like just the spectrum in general. Like I remember when I got diagnosed with it was like 1 in 175, and now it's like 1 in 100 maybe, or like 1 in 125. And that was like towards the late 2000s, like 2000s, like before the 2010s.
So as the
and I'm a 93 baby, so like
increases,
so like I saw like a commercial for an app like I'd say like a year ago that like had to deal with like kids with developmental disabilities, and I was like, what the fuck, like why is this shit on the app? Like that's so disturbing to me now.
Welcome to
like,
the future.
It's so like that, something like that is
monetizable.
like so normalized, and like parents still are having issues dealing with this, but I wanted to at least create something that was my own, that wasn't forced, or that wasn't something that my parents wanted me to do because they felt like I would be able to pay the bills, something that's actually coming from me. And, despite the ups and downs that come with being an artist, like I wouldn't trade it for the world, honestly.
I mean, being in the modern age, like you have to. There's a certain thing where I believe that everyone is an artist. Like I think that everyone has some creative output that they have or are able to produce that perhaps they need to nurture, or maybe they just are afraid to do. And like that's something that I think that a lot of people have. Where it's like, I gotta have a job, I gotta make money, but you also have to like free your soul, not to get like too woo woo about it, but like times are tough. It's soul draining. Like you need to have something that crystallizes and leaves these things out of your psyche. Like if you're working with computers all day, for example, like maybe paint something when you get home. Like it might make you feel a little bit less detached from the monitor in front of your face.
Yeah, that shit'll fucking kill you.
Yes, it will. Sitting will kill you.
Staring at a fucking computer. We were not designed to stare at a fucking screen for
I
8
think
hours of fucking
going
time.
from like a cubicle office life to like going to a cubicle in your own home is like so counterintuitive. But it's been like the way of life. Like I've seen like every parent, like every person that I know in my generation was like, yeah, my dad like would just watch TV or like play video games. You know, like my dad used to play like Call of Duty like all the time, and like I could never go to sleep. That's how I ended up like listening to like rock music and punk music.
Was it to drown out the
to drown out to drown out like the gunshots of like Call of Duty 2 and like Call of Duty 3, and like people are like, why do you have a white music taste? It's like, it wasn't like because I wanted to be white, trust me. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Okay, so when you have do you have a process when you make your poetry where like you feel like you have something to say, or do you ever like kind of write and then see where it goes from it? Like, is it usually a set forth thing, or do poems sometimes develop?
It's interesting because I've always felt that life is my muse. That's why I felt like the question that your brother asked earlier about like if I ever wrote about stuff that I went through in my childhood is because like I feel like I hope that I have, because life is my muse. Yes, I've written stuff about like certain aspects of my life like after high school and college, because I was able to have the wherewithal to like write at that stage in time. But I think that there are many themes in like my writing throughout that like carry that, you know, sort of like heaviness.
It
of
lends
what
itself
I've went
to you pull from it, but not explicitly.
Exactly.
use some of
You know,
those
because
thoughts
there's
to
like there's a huge line between like, you know, like being vulnerable and like just being like almost desperate for people to like notice like what you've been through, because like everyone's been through shit.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
I'm not gonna like question anybody, no matter what their race or their color is, or like their creed or like their religion, you know, like if they've been through hardships, because that's just what life's about. You know, like I'm not gonna push that in someone's face or be fake about it. Like it's like being a salesman who's like, like I'm always smiling, you know, like I'm always happy, you know, like that doesn't seem genuine to me. You know, like if someone's having a bad day, then like, you know, like I get it.
You'd be correct.
You know, like it's not, and I think that as a poet, like when I started to sort of lose sight of my writing and like what I was good at, and like really start to write like shit poems, in my opinion, was when I kind of wanted to cater to people.
Yeah.
And I think that like you start to forget like what actually matters in life when you start to cater to people. Not even just with like your expression of art, but just in general in life.
Oh, certainly.
Yeah. Once you start changing yourself for other people in a negative way. Because it's okay to have somebody have a positive influence on you. Like, hey, like my fiance helps me not drink so much, and that's a good thing. And I've changed myself in that way.
My girlfriend checks me.
Yeah,
You know, my girlfriend checks me. It's fucking
That's
beautiful.
good shit.
Yeah.
That's positive though. But if you start to categorically change who you are and the way you interact with people based on your job or your art for that matter, then who really are you? I guess.
Yeah, and the other thing too is it has the tendency to reveal biases that you probably don't want people to be aware of. It's things that you're still working on.
Yep.
Like you don't want to like talk like dumb to somebody that you maybe think is dumb. You know what I mean? Like for example, like you work in an office, Chris. Like there are sometimes people in an office situation. I work in a science building. I work with fucking nerds at the science factory, and like. You know, sometimes you like will say something to somebody and they'll be like, yeah, cool. Like they're acting like you're the normie in this situation. It's like, oh, sorry, man. I thought you were a square. Yeah. And then you kind of feel shitty for doing that to them.
Yeah, I was trying to cater to you a little bit, but I should have just been myself. I learned that very early because I went from working service industry. I was a bartender. I was a cook. I was waiting tables, washing dishes. I've done the whole gambit right out of college and in college and before college. I did that for the majority of my life. And then I just kind of fell into the job I have now. And when I started working there, I wanted to be like, all right, well, you're in an office now. Be proper, be good, be a good guy, and be respectful. Didn't really get me very far. But when I had the edge that I used to have in the kitchen, that people viewed it as more genuine than the way I was acting previous to that. And they're like, oh, well, Power's not. He's a little rough around the edges, but
he's so lovable.
But yeah, he's. I don't know.
I think you're lovable.
Dude, that's literally how you get by, as being like a waiter or like.
Oh yeah, it's the only way you get by
in any restaurant, because you have to have that instinct to know that like if you fuck up, it's how you handle it. But like if you have that confidence that you're not gonna fuck up, you're probably not gonna fuck up.
Yeah, right. And even if you do, it's not the end of the fucking world.
And it's not the end of the world, you know. Yeah. Like I know that like some restaurants like I've worked at where I like left, I was like, okay, like I couldn't work there. Like Brown's, for example, like I couldn't work there. It was just too high paced. Yeah. You know, and like I'm a great guy, everyone loved me, you know, but like I the best I could do was Buster, because it's like you know, if I'm like fucking running drinks, I was killing it running drinks. They want to
Yeah.
keep me running drinks, but like it's such a fucking turnover at that spot, you know,
Yeah.
like or any fucking restaurant in general.
Oh, it's super high turnover
Or like
everywhere.
service industry in general.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
you see people there one day and then the next minute, you know, like it's gone.
I walked the fuck off the line. I used to work at Delmonico's Steakhouse.
Whoa,
Yeah,
that's yo. You guys make some ill fucking ravioli with the fucking marinara and the penne vodka and the vodka on the side.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
The one thing I'll say about Delmonico's, the food is very clean. The kitchen is very
I
clean.
mean, my family and I better not be like dropping a $60 bill.
Yeah, no,
like,
it's
on
the food's
Delmonico's without some good food, like driving
Yeah.
out to fucking Central Lab at least, you know, to get some food.
it's pretty good. But there was one day I walked in after going out with my friends the night before, and I was doing all my prep, and I just like had a small panic attack, being like, I'm gonna be here for the rest of my fucking life. Not that that's a bad thing, but do I want to be here? Fuck this. I don't know what I'm doing. Fuck. And I took my hat off. And I walked up to my GM and I handed it to him. I'm out of here, Chewy. And I walked the fuck out on a Friday fucking morning. Yeah.
It's just like you have a life crisis
Yeah, just-
right there. You're just
I was
like,
like,
all right, yo, I'm done.
Yeah,
like,
I'm fucking
out.
done with this
Like,
shit. I can't do this
later.
anymore.
But
Yeah. Ended up working for my fucking landlord for like 6 months.
Who you hated too.
But fucking, he was getting to know him. He wasn't the worst person in the
I
world.
hate.
at least
I
you had a
hated-
roof over your
Yes,
head.
yes.
And that is what matters.
Yeah. But yeah. No, it's rough being yourself when you want to succeed at a job, when sometimes your the perception of your personality is what
Dude, I think
tells
that
you how you get paid sometimes.
time and place is like
Yeah.
so important in life.
Oh yeah.
I think that's something that I've had to learn, especially working in education. Like when I worked at the
Oh.
Boys and Girls Club,
God, yeah.
holy fuck, like, whew, you know, I'm just gonna like zip it just for the sake of me because like it's a nonprofit and they're trying to do the right thing at heart.
Okay.
Like I have no ill will. They're all good people. I'm just gonna leave it at that. But
Cool.
when you start to see kids crying and there's like nothing you can do about it over like fucking budgets and shit, like that's when you have to like. You kind of have to like take a step out because when you're trying to like reinvent the wheel at a spot like that, like you're gonna get like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, like
They're not
pump
gonna-
the brakes quick. And like as someone who's like me, like I kind of like if I don't see that confidence like exuded in a positive light, I'm just gonna like get in my shell. Like
Yeah. Yeah, dude,
you
you're
know,
gonna fall in line with everybody else.
yeah, you know, I'm just gonna be like, all right, like I still gotta pay bills, man. I still gotta live. You know, I'm not like it's great being a good person and all. Like the poem that I wrote on my Instagram like yesterday, you know, with the gas station photo, you know, like that's literally what it's like, you know. In some aspects, like you can't get that benefit of the doubt, you know.
Yeah.
Given like my situation, I'm sure you know it. You
Yeah.
know, it's not a fun time, you know, always being on the defensive. But I think that in life you can view things negatively and positively, and let that be kind of like the dictator in things. But I'd rather just live, you know, just like happy, you know, just learning and like
Yeah.
growing, because like you only get one. you
Yep.
know?
Yeah. We think at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Like we think yo, you believe in the Anunnaki?
I have no idea what that is.
The Giants.
Okay. Maybe I'm a bit too woke.
Gigante.
I need to quiet down.
Wait, Anunnaki, aren't they like the
Fucking Area
ancient?
51 might come through.
It's almost time for the raid.
Oh,
Next
yeah.
week.
Yeah,
Next
dude.
week.
You gotta bulk up for that. Before we get too far off this topic, Ian, so where can we find your stuff, like online and stuff
So,
people want to
like-
read up on you?
On some weird stuff, like I got published in 2015, and then like you could have ordered my chap, and then I gave all of the fucking physical copies away, and then it went off print like 2018 in January. I'd say the best bet is to like follow me on Instagram.
Cool.
Read the captions of my posts. Most of them are like posts with like poetry in the bottom.
Cool.
You
Oh,
know,
what's your handle on
It's
Instagram?
at IMACKS22. That's kind of what I'm at right now. I submitted like my 2015 through like 2017 collection out to like some like nonfiction and like some publishers
Cool.
trying to get that out because like I just don't really have the time to like self-publish right now.
Yeah.
You know, and like we have day-to-day shit that we got to do.
Mm-hmm.
And they make it sound like, oh, why don't you just put it out yourself? You know, like
It's like, well, it's
I'm
not just putting it out. it's
I'm not gonna
promoting it, it's all that
fucking
other stuff.
half-ass something that like I put, you know, my heart and soul into for like 2 years. So you know, if something happens with that, then like hopefully I can get something else tangible because like it's been like a couple years and I'm starting to get sick of it myself. That's why I'm just happy to get some readings in, you know, kind of stay warm. Because I was doing readings in Brooklyn and you know, Brooklyn and like actually I was about to blow up and my parents were just like, you got to do something with your career. And that's when I ended up fucking in Connecticut for a year, you know, and I kind of like was resenting them for a hot minute because I was like, dude, like dude, I could have actually like been touring right now, you know,
Yeah.
if I kept that momentum. But like I was depressed, you know, like and you have to be versatile in the world that we live in, and I, as much as it hurts, you know, like my dad would love to play music like full time, but he had to work for the state for 30 years. But I was able to live with a roof over my head, and I respect the fuck out of him for that. And like anyone who's trying to do that right now, because you see the homeless people, you see like the poverty line, especially in this city,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and just the
very apparent.
fucking cognitive dissonance and like the politics. Like we could go on.
Oh,
like
we definitely could.
growing up here, like seeing this city like turn itself inside out and then like turn itself back in again.
Yeah.
You know, it's just kind of like it's like a thing where you need to take a step back and realize, why are we like being friendly to one another and then like cutthroat. Sorry, that's my poetry notebook there. Like,
No worries, dude.
Like, why are we being cutthroat behind each other's backs when, like, at the end of the day, like, we're all trying to, like, fucking eat from the same pod, paint the same pond.
Yep.
And I'd rather, like, just see people just enjoy, like, you know, not feeling forced to, like, move into, like, these high-end apartments or, like, go to these businesses.
No
You
more
know, like, and
towers.
give their money, you know? Because, like, there's, like, stuff going on in North Troy. I don't know if you saw that, like, news story
Which,
that came out. The African-American girl that was murdered
oh, Jesus. No, I didn't
in
see that.
Lansingburg. They found her behind a car.
Ugh.
Just like dead, and like
Just left there.
neighbors were like, yeah, we heard like a shotgun like go off, but like, yeah, we didn't really like know what to do there.
I mean,
And
it's,
and I think that if it was like, it's just like, whoa, you know,
Yeah.
like this is where I live, you know. And I wrote like a short story essay type about like, what if I was like at the wrong place at the wrong time, like just got shot, you know, just got killed. And like I submitted it somewhere, and they were just like, dude, this is so deep, like we can't publish this yet.
the world's not ready for it.
Like the world's not. This was back in 2016.
Okay.
I feel like
Nowadays, you probably.
I probably could, but like it's already known, and like
Yeah.
I feel like it's just a rotating cast of like names, and I'm just not trying to be that name.
Yeah.
I know it sounds grim as fuck, but like I'm
No,
just
I
not
know what
trying
you
to be
mean.
that name. Yeah.
It takes a lot of courage to be out there, especially to be out there and be vulnerable like you are with your writing. All right. On that note, I believe we'll move on now to topic.
Jesus.
Wake up. Topic.
Okay.
Top.
New equipment, folks. Sorry about that.
Topic. Number 2.
Holy shit.
Wake up.
All right.
Sorry, guys. I don't know why that happened.
Ian, your topic number 2.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna try to lighten the mood here.
That's cool, man.
Because we're entertainment.
We are entertainers.
We are entertainment.
Yeah.
But we're not afraid of feelings.
Actually, I kind of just like thought of this topic when I was like, when you guys were just getting set up here. I feel like a lot of problems that I've seen like recently that I've encountered in life have all been based on communication. Oddly enough, like this has been like a main point of my frustration because I'm a communications grad and I can't get a job in my major for shit. So I feel like
grad.
as like, yo, like if you want to make a documentary, like we can make a collab, like you know. Like,
I'm a writing guy. I had no cameras for me.
Okay. Yo, when you know, like that's why I write like on pen and paper,
I love
you
to
know,
write.
and then type it up so it looks nice. But
Yep.
yeah, I'd say like my topic would probably be like our struggle with, or I won't even say struggle, but what communication is now in our day and age,
yes, and how it's getting shorter and shorter.
and how what we have in society, and even though I'm only 26, like. I remember when like the new cell phone was like the fucking Nokia brick before 9/11 happened, and like I remember being in Manhattan when like 9/11 happened, and then like the whole like fucking like hyperdrive into like
the jump into the future. After that.
into like the future after that, and like nothing felt the same anymore. So I mean, like you all come from like different backgrounds, like different upbringings, and like we all do. So like I'd say like how do you feel like communication has changed, and like what do you do? Or like, what do you feel is best in terms of like communicating with like one another and the people that you care about?
Well, the aliens gave us all this technology.
Yes,
Let's get that out first.
Eisenhower made a treaty with the aliens back in the 40s to give a certain amount of human subjects in exchange for technology.
Yes.
And that's why we got the iPhone.
Everyone
understands that.
Yep. And that's also where Mark Zuckerberg came from.
Yep.
He's in the exchange program.
He's the exchange program. Yeah, exactly. No, I mean,
Cold-blooded.
he's not. Have you seen the video? Have you seen the video of him? It was like the first Facebook Live video, and he's like, "I'm just in the backyard smoking some meats with my friends."
Dude, it's so like he's not a human being. He's a fucking lizard. But yeah, so communication has changed drastically.
It's gotten much shorter and quicker.
Our mother, the easiest way to get a hold of her now is to text her, and if I ever pulled out my phone at the kitchen table, I would be chastised for an hour probably. And now I watch my mother play fucking Candy Crush while we're all at dinner trying to talk to each other and shit.
Or our mother's ringtone.
Yeah.
Which never on silent. Her phone
never.
actually came without a silent mode on it. I'm pretty sure that's
No, she got Pixel 3.
yeah. She gets. Oh, it does have a volume button.
It does.
Oh,
It does.
that's crazy.
I got one of those.
Props to anybody still playing Candy Crush.
I think one of the best memes I've ever seen was parents in 1997. You can't trust anything on the internet. Parents in 2017. Freedom.Eagle says Hillary Clinton invented AIDS.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no. Our parents, they got suckered like they thought we were gonna get suckered with technology.
Well, more mom than dad.
Well, I mean, he's still on the websites and
that's
stuff,
true.
news sites and all that.
Yeah.
And just because he's not on the smartphone
Yeah,
doesn't
that's
mean he
true.
didn't get taken into the future with the rest of us.
Watching his Alex Jones.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I think that like obviously like people always talk about like Twitter. It's 160 characters. You can't say anything on Twitter, which I agree. Like it definitely shortens.
Like Twitter for that.
I like it because it gives you a wall.
Yep, you can only say so much, and how often do you even read a full tweet? If
Not
it's
even
more than
that,
a
like
couple
the
of
Twitter
sentences.
feed is like so steady,
Yeah.
like it's not like, oh god, like what was that meme I just saw followed by a status that like I could give two shits about,
Right.
Like it's kind of consistent.
Facebook is a
it's
wasteland
current,
now.
and I think that like there's a difference between like social media that gets you into like more trouble than good. I think that dating sites is like a perfect example as well. I can't really speak illy on them because that's how I met my girlfriend, but like that was after like a fuck ton of horse shit on like Tinder or Bumble or like there's this new one called like Ship, and
Okay.
it's like you rely on your friends to like approve of like this choice.
Oh, like shipping, like how you put like two
that.
fictional
That
characters
sounds
together.
awful.
Fuck that.
Yo,
my
Matt-
friends would be fucking with me so much.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I would say
Oh my god, that would be so bad for guys.
Yeah.
That'd be the worst thing ever.
Yeah. Oh my god.
yeah, I mean, because like it's funny to set you up on a funny date.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that'd be funny for me. It's like a sitcom plot.
Yeah, but like, what if the friend is like taking this seriously? Like, I'm looking for the love of my life, and then you set him up with like fucking Helga from
Maybe
Hey
don't.
Arnold.
Yeah. Maybe don't go on Ship if you're trying to actually find somebody. Did you guys hear about the new Facebook dating app?
Is this Zeus? Because Zeus has been around for a minute.
No, they
No.
started a Facebook dating thing.
Yeah, it's like
recently.
straight up Facebook dating. It might just be called Facebook dating. And it's like you can it works just like Tinder, I guess, and you can like lock it out for certain people.
Okay.
So if you didn't want, like, let's say you had a significant other, you could like lock it out so they couldn't know that you had a profile on
Okay.
this.
Or if
on
you
this
didn't want to be
account.
matched up with your mom. Right.
Oh,
No, I mean it's a real concern. That could happen. It could happen. Don't have to go on a date with her, but you can
Well, no,
see
you
her.
have to if you get matched with her.
you're-
She's
if
gonna
you're
get real fucking pissed at you if you don't fucking go out with her.
dude. Like, I want to say something so bad, but like, I don't want my dad to listen to this podcast and hear what I say. So, like, that's a real thing. Like, people can see people that you don't want to see on dating sites.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. And also, not to neglect the fact that Facebook like sold everybody's fucking information. Not
Oh.
what 2 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think maybe if you could use that app to like determine you don't want to date those people because they're just too fucking stupid to realize not to do anything on Facebook.
Yeah, I think that's.
Then you'd have to have an account too.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's a feint within a feint.
Yeah.
Who's the real spy? I would say that, like, I mean, obviously political discourse has gotten very
it's the fucking worst.
crazy lately. I mean, I really think that, like, people always say, like, oh, it's the death of nuance or something like that. And I tend to push back on that because it's not necessarily nuance that you want. It's that a lot of people are lying. You know what I mean? So it's like the birth of, like, people believing all these lies all the time. And so it's like, you know, people will say, like, you know, it's a news story where it's whatever spin from one side and another spin from the other side.
It's the people getting their news from headlines now.
That's a good point.
If
Like a quick tabloid, you know,
Yeah.
and you see athletes and celebrities like ripping like the Sun and like other people, but at the end of the day, like those are the tabloids right now.
Yeah.
Like I saw somebody at Price Chopper like a month ago or 2 months ago, fucking like reading the National Enquirer while on the clock, like this old white lady at like the Brunswick Price Chopper.
It's like Osama bin Laden married Saddam Hussein.
And then like she was like, "Ooh," and then she looked at me and I was like, "The fuck? Like, you serious, man?" It's like it's so crazy, dude. Life is so crazy.
it's so easily consumable now too.
Yes.
It's so like if you have, I don't have an iPhone, but I have a Pixel. I can go like this. I can swipe left rather, and it's just a bunch of curated fucking articles that I will during the day. Just like, oh, Star Wars 9 theory reveals why Palpatine's army is an even bigger threat. Cool. I'm not going to read that article, but I know that now.
Now you know that Palpatine's army is a big threat, so now you're ready for that.
Yeah, I'm ready for when that happens.
Yeah, when Palpatine comes from you.
If you like, like with the Pixel, like you were saying, like I like having Google, but like it also feels kind of like creeping on my life.
Fucking
Oh,
creepy
absolutely.
as shit.
It's like I make one search, it's like everything about that one search.
So, one of the file types we deal with at the job I work at is EDI. Have you ever heard of EDI? No one's ever heard of fucking EDI.
I kind of maybe
It's a shipping
my dad-
language from like back in like I think it started like the 70s or something like
for
that.
like programming.
No, it's like a shipping manifest. Oh. But it's a digital shipping manifest, and it's very not obscure. It's very big in the industry, but unless you work in the fucking industry, you've never heard of it. And when I started working at the company I work at currently, I started getting advertisements for EDI software. I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, it's like the things that people say, like your phone is listening to you, and like they'll be like, I talked about it's not listening to you.
You just type it into the.
You just give it so much information all the
just
time.
Fucking put it in the thing.
Yeah. No, I mean Google is becoming a omniscient being on the planet Earth or outside of our, physical space. And unfortunately AI is going to be smarter than us very soon. And most people are dumb, and like I'm dumb. Like I do dumb shit on my phone all the time, and like I'll like look at stuff and I'll be like, I really shouldn't look at this because now I'm gonna get fucking ads for this shit. Like I remember one time, like Instagram is a great example. Like the curated Discover tab,
Yeah,
you look at any like
that's such a good page
exercise
for
thing.
memes.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, man.
If you get it right, it's great.
Yeah.
But if you look at like one exercise thing, that's it. You're just gonna. It's just gonna be.
That's why I don't like anything on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Instagram.
I kind of feel like it's like that younger brother who was fun at first, but then you're just like, I'm kind of over it. Like if I didn't utilize it, or like I'm trying to get back to like just utilizing it for like my poetry. I think for a while I was like kind of like just smitten at like my personal life and like having a girlfriend and like being happy with life, but like I'm starting to get back to that. And because like if I didn't do that, like I wouldn't have one. Like
Right.
Because like so many people are just like, oh. Wow, she's so hot in that photo. You know, like, and it's like, whoa, look at this baseball meme. Like, look at these football memes. Look at the SpongeBob meme. Like, yay. It's like a hyper compressed like Facebook at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, they're owned by the same people now.
It's all like a conglomerate of shit. Like even Snapchat. Like I can't even like. I only use Snapchat to Snapchat my girlfriend. Like that's and like some best friends.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so clunky. Like you're just like,
It's a bad app.
dude, I want to like put a filter on my face. Like I don't want to look like a dog.
Sometimes you want to look like a dog.
Listen, if we're all being honest here, we've all been a dog.
We've all been a dog
I don't want
once
to
or
hear
twice.
about your weird fetishes, Chris.
Hey, don't kink shame.
Hey! At least he doesn't want to be a foot. He doesn't want to be toes.
To be a slipper upon that foot.
Yes.
I personally like Reddit because I think that's if I want to see the dumb shit, I can see the dumb shit. If I don't want to, I don't have to. But also, it's a breeding ground for fucking alt-right shit. And it's
Yeah, it is.
fucking because it's anonymous and it's fucking. Oh,
I just got a Reddit, but it won't accept like my email verification.
that's
Really?
fucking weird.
It's like so weird. Like I got the email for the verification, and it's
Yeah.
like it won't accept it, and it's like this sucks. But like I still can like look at pages.
Yeah,
So I kind of get the gist of it. My girlfriend had it for like the longest, and she was like, "You need to get Reddit," and then I got a Reddit.
Reddit's great because you can get like really like
Curated.
very curated,
It's
list for
hyper-specific.
stuff, hyper-specific stuff that
Yes,
you need.
like r/entitled parents or r/relationship advice.
Yeah.
Um,
or
you-
like
you
it's
get a
great
lot
for
of
like band stuff. Like, so I'm a big fan of the band Tool, and when it was getting the new album, was
album.
coming- yep, it's out. It's great.
Fear Inoculum.
Fear Inoculum
In stores now.
in stores now.
Dude. Like the only thing I think of when I hear Tool is like I know the pieces fit.
Yep.
Like that's all I gotta say.
You'll watch them tumble down.
And I watch them tumble over. Like I just think of like angry white men.
Yeah.
You know,
that's-
and,
that's-
like,
that's,
that's like that's
don't
like
need
what
to go
I
to a
think of it
concert
too.
now.
And then they had that one video with the dude who looked like he was albino, but he was like made of beads. And then like it was like
Oh, when he had the little guys all over his face. That was
like-
that was Schism, right?
they just made a mashup on YouTube of that with like Taylor Swift's performance of Never.
Okay,
ever,
yeah.
Ever.
So I got like 500 fucking like notifications for that shit. I still haven't watched the video.
Bro,
Is that
that is the most that slaps. That slaps.
Is that the Parabola video?
Parabola is when they're all like puking.
I think it
It's
starts
got
with an
the
S.
clay mask guy. In his
Yeah,
face.
it's,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
That's
It's
the
the
guy
No,
that-
that is Parabola.
That's
then.
Parabola.
Yeah, Parabola. That's tricky.
Is it really?
Yeah, the hip hop artist Tricky. That's actually him in that video under all the makeup.
Oh, really? Cool.
Wow.
What was I gonna say? Speaking of video mashups, just because we're on the topic, the "This Is America" video over the top
Yes.
of "Call Me Maybe" by Carly Rae Jepsen. Have you
Yeah.
seen that one? It's the Childish
it's-
Gambino video, and then it works so well because they're on the same beats per minute, and so it just works out well.
That video got ruined for me by like the memes that came out.
Yeah.
It's like that one shot where he's got like the dude sitting in the seat and like the one with the gun. It's like, this is America. I'm like, da da da. And then like he
Yeah.
kept saying the same thing over and over. It's like that. It's like that meme with the two babies like walking in the street, like hugging each other. It's like, oh, like we're toddlers and we're best friends. Like, why is this a meme? Like this is just people.
Memes are a very interesting new. I mean, they're not a new thing
Yeah.
like texts and images, but they
Yeah.
have become a really interesting like emergent form of communication. Since we're talking about communication, like, what do you guys think about them? Do you think that they're? I think that a meme is a way to capture a mood or a vibe. I guess
A
you would
feeling.
a feeling.
It's supposed to elicit a response without having to try to like give the whole thing away. I guess. Maybe.
Yeah.
You see, like there's like a lot of memes about like male depression that I've seen at least, or like
yeah.
topics that aren't really easy to talk about, but
Yeah.
they can like
Yeah.
generalize them in a way that it's like, oh,
So
we can
there's-
just laugh it off because like
There's a
we all go
subreddit for
through
that.
this.
Yeah.
There's a subreddit for that. It's called Me IRL, and it's all memes like that, and it's all about like suicide, depression, and shit like that. But those ones are kind of funny. Then there's Too Real for Me IRL, which is really just don't even go on that subreddit. It's really
too
It's like
much.
the 8chan.
yeah, kind of. It's a dark part of Reddit.
8chan when you're too racist for 4chan.
Oh jeez. So I saw Eric Andre on Sunday.
Oh, how was that, by the way?
Fucking amazing. He's
Was
a
it better than seeing Dave Chappelle at the Palace? Because I was disappointed with Dave.
I
Chappelle.
missed
really?
that one.
No, I didn't see Dave
missed Dave
Chappelle.
So his first show was really good, but I
Yeah.
didn't go to that show because like it sold out. So
Gotcha.
like my family got tickets for the second show.
So he's tired and
He's fucking tired and smoking
Yeah.
cloves and like fucking wasted.
was he smoking on stage?
Yeah, he smoked like 4 cloves like on stage.
Jesus. Oh, Eric Andre was fun. It was
Did
a
he
good
tuck
time.
his wiener between
Yes,
his
he
legs?
did.
Yeah, I saw a
Yes, he
picture of
did.
that.
He did a ranch thing, but he was talking about is like he started making fun of the crowd, and he's like, yeah, you know, I know I gotta be careful what I say up here because I know what my fucking what do you say? He's like I know what my fucking audience is or my fans are. They're all 8chan fucking school shooters. You speak to my brain, Eric.
Yeah,
It's not too far off though. That's the
No,
problem.
yeah, it's so funny. It's true.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that like there's definitely like a huge population of like disaffected young men, and like maybe connecting back to our first topic about talking about your feelings. if you talk about your feelings instead of making violent memes, maybe we can get something done instead of,
Sometimes I feel that incels wouldn't exist as prevalently if they had social skills or like
Absolutely.
therapists.
If they didn't, if they're therapists, that would probably
like
help
I'm trying to
fucking
get
so
therapy,
much.
but I don't have health insurance, so like that's one. It's so tough, but like I hear that though. Like therapy is a big deal, but like I think just like actually just talking to people and not being
so that's what happens
in the
though.
room.
They have these
so
areas where they can just where they have a sounding board where they can say women are the worst. Yeah, you're right, they're the worst.
Right. And
Like
then
the reason why I can't get a girlfriend is because my chin is shaped this way. Yeah, no, that's why.
And then they like objectify like the Chads.
yeah.
Oh, have you heard of
sick.
Tyrone? Tyrone's worse.
yep.
Oh God,
Yo,
is this a
Tyro.
racist version of Trip Chad?
No, it's not racist. Just a black version of Chad.
Okay.
so
That's really the only.
that's literally the only.
Better than
the
I
only thing.
expected, honestly, coming out of that crowd.
It's like, why is his dick so big?
There's just to keep in the incel side.
That's where we should just spend the rest of the podcast
Let's
in the
keep
incel.
talking about
yeah.
incels, whatever we do. But
Fucking hate incels.
yeah, but there's a movie coming out. Have you heard about this Cuck?
No.
Wait, no. Is it about a cuckold?
Yeah, it's about like this guy who's
Go
basically.
to Pornhub.com and see plenty of those.
It's like an 8chan guy
Okay.
who's like obviously like a rising white supremacist type dude. And then he like gets into porn. He can't find a job, so he gets into porn and he does cuckold porn.
okay.
It seems like it's gonna be
Who's making this movie?
some dipshit. I think that it's like
even to give.
Look, as long as it's not about like a white dude who's watching like his wife have sex with a black dude and like it's only the black dude, then you can do what you want. But like that's
Yeah.
one of the stereotypes with cuckolds.
oh, absolutely. I
You
mean,
know,
that's
and
where the
I'm
term
not
came
trying to
from.
like see a movie because there's already like this movie coming out called Loose, which like has me upset.
Oh, what's
It's
that one?
about an adopted kid from like a war-torn African country, and he writes a senior essay about like how genocide is necessary. And then his teacher is like Octavia Spencer, like the black actress, and she's
Yeah.
like, he's gonna do something bad. And his parents are like white adoptive parents, so
Okay.
of course they're just like, oh no, what is he gonna do? Like, oh dear, like did you write this essay? And the whole movie is him just being like, I just wrote an essay.
Oh,
Like I'm just like an adopted kid, you know.
Yeah.
I'm doing everything right here. Like, why do you think I'm gonna shoot up the school?
Jesus Christ.
And like in the middle of the trailer, like her house gets vandalized, and she's like, "It's him. He did it." You
Cuck
know?
is actually about a guy that becomes gets drawn into like the incel world.
yeah, that's it's like it's like the Joker without the Joker in there.
I'm excited to see.
I'm excited for
Joker.
it too. I'm not
Yeah.
excited for some of the fans though.
Well, yeah, it's a fan.
Dude, if I see people in Joker costumes, I'm just gonna be like, "This is about the emotion behind the Joker," and that's all I'm gonna say. This isn't about you having your big day out.
I stopped being excited for like every comic book movie after I read the Suicide Squad 2 cast list, and now I don't care about anything else.
Who's I know Pete Davidson's on there. Everybody
Pete
was-
Davidson, John Cena,
Wait, what the fuck?
Flula Borg.
Who's that?
He's like a German YouTuber.
Oh, I know who he is. He's a podcast guy, I think. Too.
yeah.
Flew the
Idris Elba.
Oh, cool.
It's just like, first of all, it's 24 people, and it was basically implied like a lot of these are not going to be on screen for very long.
Yeah.
And
no.
they're adding like they're pulling like all the D-list villains out, so it's going to have Polka Dot Man in it. Like,
okay, so it's gonna be different storyline with like some goofs and gags with cameos and stuff.
well, I mean, it's being directed by James Gunn, so
Okay.
Nathan Fillion,
Oh yeah, I forgot he was doing that.
Taika
Yeah.
Waititi is in it.
Oh, cool.
You want to get to the third topic?
Yeah, let's do it.
We could go on, man. This is great.
On that note, we're gonna go to.
But thank you, because that makes it sound a lot weirder than what I thought it was.
I thought it was just gonna be Suicide Squad again.
yeah.
It is. Oh, they're not even like they're just pretending the last movie didn't happen.
Because.
Oh, I wasn't talking about Suicide Squad. I was
Okay.
talking about the cuckold movie.
Oh.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But now I googled it, so now all the ads on my
Yep, you're
are going to
seeing
be
a
for
bunch of-
Cuckold.
Oh.
Well, more than you were already getting. Probably.
All right. On that note, we're moving on now to topic. Number. Three. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm topic 3 today. Let's keep this one loose. Let's keep this one quick. And I want to take some movies from the mid to late 90s that were iconic for having like a main character that you know by face. Maybe you know the movie just by that one character, and recast that main character, and possibly the rest of the movie. Possibly make a remake, something along those lines.
Okay.
All right, first one, Godzilla.
Godzilla. The
So
main
instead,
character
so instead
being-
of Godzilla,
who do we have?
yep,
John Cena.
John Cena. Cool. Moving on.
Okay, so Godzilla. So Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito as Godzilla.
I think that would be great. He's like a little, monster
Ooh.
man.
He's just like he's the same size he is now, but he has all the powers of Godzilla.
It's like
So-
Ant-Man. He has the
Yeah.
strength, but he's just this size.
Yeah, he's just like tiny, just like knocking over buildings and breathing fire and shit.
Dude, Brock Lesnar, hands down.
Brock Lesnar is the wrestler.
Yeah, he's the one who like was like, quote me on this, I hate gays.
Sweet.
So like any person who like can say that and be okay with it and like do WWE after leaving UFC on top of that can like be Godzilla to be, because I would totally like love to see this dude like just get fucking torpedoed.
But Godzilla
Okay.
usually wins in the end.
I mean, like, I hope to God, like, this dude wouldn't win, but like, he's obviously winning over the
kinda
hearts
winning.
he's winning over the hearts of the NASCAR of wrestling. So,
All right, Jingle All the Way, starring
Schwarzenegger.
Schwarzenegger.
Okay. And Sinbad's in that one too.
yeah, Sinbad's
right?
in that too, yeah.
They're looking for the Mighty Morphin Action Man
Yep,
or
yep,
whatever. Who could replace Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Just flip him.
Just flip him. Oh my god, that would be great. Is Sinbad's he's still around, right? He's still
Yeah.
still doing stuff.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, after doing that genie movie.
He never did a genie
The
movie.
Genie movie. That was a joke. He put
dude,
it
I
out
would,
on fourth.
I would bring
April
Michael
Fools.
Clark Duncan back from the dead. That would be the dude to replace Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Who else? Who's another big muscly
You
man?
do Sly Stallone.
Slide Stallone, but he has to work on his diction to be
No, he
able to
doesn't.
get those lines out. I guess Arnie wasn't
Yeah.
that great at his diction as well.
Yeah.
How did I not know that Michael Clark Duncan was dead?
Wait, whoa,
That was like 7 years ago.
man! Like
There was
that-
a deluge
That's
of a lot of
as
people
known
dying.
as like the Green Mile. Like
I know.
being around. Wow, the more you know.
He took someone's pain away way too hard, and then he died.
Dude, that movie is just like when empathy goes wrong. Yeah. Like, as a poet, like, I can't watch that movie. That's the same thing with me and Get Out, especially dating like a white girl. Like, I just can't watch that movie.
Oh, yeah,
like, I can't.
Wait, and his girlfriend at the time was Omarosa?
Wait, what?
Whoa.
Wait, what?
He was with his girlfriend, Omarosa Manigault Newman,
All
who
right.
tried to save his life by performing CPR.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, good for her. Glad she was ready for that.
And
Dude.
of course, there was drama as she was under suspicion for changing his will and testament.
Jesus Christ.
That's the most
Yo, I
Omarosa
think
shit.
I remember seeing that, and I remember just being like, yo, how much tension was in that couple?
And then she was in the White House a few years later.
Dude, like, she was on The Apprentice during that time. No wonder he probably had, like, cardiac arrest. Like, ooh.
Probably pumping his chest like, sign it, please sign it.
Please sign the testament that I revised.
Have you looked at my revisions?
Hey, as someone who's just happy to be on like a will and testament, like as a son, an only child, like that's important. You gotta have some backup money. You don't want to rely on that, but you gotta have some backup money.
John Cena as Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
And Dave Chappelle as Sinbad.
Sinbad.
Well, how can he jingle all the way, John Cena, when he had a vasectomy?
Did he have a vasectomy?
Yeah, that was on Wikipedia.
Can't say I've read his Wikipedia recently, but okay.
It's because like my girlfriend's roommate's boyfriend is like a huge WWE fan.
Okay.
And, like I used to never watch wrestling unless it was like Booker T or like Kofi Kingston or like a
Yeah.
black wrestler. So like every time I'm over there, he's like watching wrestling, and like I was just watching like Clash of Champions, and like but like the week before I was like, why did John Cena get a divorce from like that WWE chick? And then like I looked at his Wikipedia, I was like, he had a vasectomy, like so he couldn't have kids, so he wouldn't be an absentee parent. Like,
Can you imagine the person whose hobby is updating Wikipedia
Yeah.
and they stumble across that he has a vasectomy and they're like, I got to get that in there before somebody else
Yeah,
gets
yeah,
it.
yeah. I need those
Hey,
points.
Hey, that's better than the Pirates pitcher who's been like having a 2-year relationship with a 13-year-old. So like,
Oh.
yeah,
Jesus Christ.
dude, that just blew up like today. I was on
really?
Twitter, literally.
I probably saw his name. I don't usually pay
Felipe
attention to stuff.
Vasquez.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like
name
I
on the
was
trending.
just like, what? Like if you know the details of this shit, like it's fucked. Like he was literally texting her like when the season's over, like I'm smashing that. Like she's only 15. And he's been talking to her and doing this for 2 years.
Jesus
like he has a warrant out for his arrest in Florida. He's in Pittsburgh.
Wow.
They don't arrest anybody in Florida. Well, they arrest.
No, they arrest a
They-
lot of people. in
No, they
Florida.
just have somebody go kill them.
Yeah, they got Epstein in Florida.
Yep.
I'm surprised nobody just shot him and claimed.
Yeah.
Well, he also like is playing baseball at the home of Big Ben. So like they were probably just like, oh, you know, like this is Pittsburgh.
But how is Omarosa involved in this?
Omarosa
I
is
wanna know.
involved in this because it's really disturbing, but like that's how they have fame.
She
Because
just
I'm
has
sure that Omarosa is like very high-strung person. I feel bad for Michael Clark Duncan. Too much emotion. That's how it came up.
It's true.
Too
It's
much
true.
emotion. Too much emotion.
Too much.
All right, I got one more, and maybe we can bring this home. Chairman of the board.
Chairman of the board. I never saw that one.
You don't need to see it. It's starring fucking what's his name? Carrot Top.
Carrot Top was in a
Yep.
major
He had his own.
motion
He had his own
picture?
movie with a wide release.
Wow.
Where he plays a chairman of a company, I believe.
Do they
and
make
he
gizmos
surfs.
and gadgets?
He surfs.
He surfs.
He's a surfer. That's why they call it chairman of the
I
board.
guess then the question here really is just who is the Carrot Top of 2019?
Who is the Carrot Top of 2019?
Pauly Shore.
No.
Pauly Shore is still alive?
Yeah, he's still.
I would
this-
I would say Andy Dick because he got leveled on
No,
camera.
Andy Dick's the Carrot Top of like 1997.
Yeah.
Bro, the last time, like, did you see that video of him getting leveled on camera?
No.
He was waiting
No.
outside
That
of a
We
sounds
can
bar.
watch that
Wonderful.
afterward, though. I'd
Yeah,
really
yeah,
enjoy
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
He was waiting outside of a bar, and like it's like the CCTV because it was like in England or some shit, or like
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, yeah.
either like England or like in the States. He was like getting in a fight with someone, and this dude just fucking clocked him. And like, just fell in like the shrubbery, and I was like,
Well, if he fell into shrubbery and it was on CCTV, it's probably in England.
Yeah,
Just because they have CCTV
they're
everywhere.
fucking everywhere. What about Nicolas Cage playing Carrot Top?
Nicolas Cage in the role of his lifetime playing
Playing Carrot
Carrot
Top.
Top.
Nicolas Cage playing Carrot Top playing the character. It's a biopic. It's a
Oh,
biopic.
so yeah, it's about
Carrot Top making that movie.
making chairman of the board.
And it's just Nicolas Cage casually losing his mind.
chairman of the board of what?
Well, okay, so can we let's pick this part since we all haven't seen the movie. Let's rewrite it.
I definitely saw it.
I never saw it. Okay, so we've got a cool guy who's not like other CEOs.
yeah.
And he's on the board and he's Carrot Top.
It's got
And
to
he also surfs.
I haven't even looked it up, but I'm assuming it's a wacky circumstance
Yes,
happens.
yes.
And Carrot Top gets made
Yes.
the CEO of a company.
I think he produces a product that gets picked up.
Wait, was this the movie that came out after Singular went under and he couldn't do the ads anymore?
It's probably pre that,
No,
right?
I think it'd be
'Cause
pre that. Yeah,
Pre that?
yeah, because it was. That's
he
this is
went
like
he went on
early
he went to
90s.
Singular on his downfall from this
All
movie.
right. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to, just based on you said Carrot Top is in a movie called
Okay.
Chairman of the Board.
Okay.
I'm going to describe what I think this movie is, and then I'm going to go to the Wikipedia.
Okay.
And we're going to
Okay,
see how
here we go.
accurate it is. Something happens where he ends up CEO of a company. Either like a relative dies and somehow that
Yeah.
leads to it, or something like that. So
Okay.
somehow somebody gives him this opportunity, or like a paperwork error results in him being
Yeah.
CEO. There's a guy on the board that's got to stop him. There's a guy on there that's
Yep.
just a real rich dickhead and
Yep,
has
yep.
to stop Carrot
Yeah,
Top.
that's the
But there's a
plot
woman
of
who
the
just
movie.
takes a shine to him, and she really likes him, and she wants to help him, and she doesn't like this guy either, and he probably wants to fuck her. And he ends up running the company great in the end.
Yeah.
that's the movie.
My one addendum to that is that I think that because it's Carrot Top and he's a prop comic, he probably made some like whackety smackety like product that I
wanna
think
say he did. It was
propelled
like-
him to the top. That's what I would say.
Edison is a poor, failed inventor and surf bum who spent his rent money on another unsuccessful invention. After failing to make money at a variety of jobs, Edison soon runs into a wealthy business magnate whose car is broken down on the side of the road. After Edison uses his inventions to assist Armin,
Whackety
the old
smackety.
man
What did I
becomes
say?
impressed with his ingenuity, and the two go surfing together and become fast friends. When Armin passes away shortly
Yeah,
thereafter, he leaves Edison the vast majority of shares in his large company and leaves Bradford, his jealous nephew and only living relative, a surfboard as his only inheritance. Bradford attempts to derail Edison's success by stealing his formula for glow-in-the-dark, which does not exist in the world of the film. Bradford shares it with a consumer who covers himself in it and alleges that Edison's prized invention, a portable TV dinner combo, leaks radiation. When Edison reveals that radiation causes sickness and death, but not a literal glowing, the company is saved. Bradford is arrested, and Grace Kosik makes a deal with the company to testify against Bradford. In the end, Edison appoints his girlfriend, Natalie Stockwell, to run the company.
Yep.
All right. Well, we called it. That's basically like Black Sheep, right? Or
That
Tommy,
sounds like
Tommy Boy.
That
Tommy
sounds
Boy.
like Surf's Up with humans.
Oh, my God.
Also, did you know that Carrot Top was on Hell's Kitchen?
No.
Excuse me? What?
He was on Hell's Kitchen when
Excuse
they
me?
went to like Las Vegas. It's only because I watched the season recently. On,
Wait,
like,
wait, wait.
Hulu.
Oh, come
Oh, so
on.
it's a new one. And
No,
he's-
it's mad old.
it's
It's,
old,
like
okay.
2011, 2012.
Okay.
What
Because Chris is a big
he-
Gordon Ramsay
yeah,
head.
yeah.
He's in Las Vegas when like the winning team goes to Las
Oh,
Vegas.
but he's not like actually on Hell's Kitchen though.
No, he's
Does Gordon Ramsay yell at him?
No, he's the celebrity
Damn it,
that they
damn it.
meet in Las Vegas.
And Gordon Ramsay is nice to him.
No, Gordon Ramsay
Yes,
just sends them to chill with
Oh.
Carrot Top.
This is
Like
your
he's
fucking-
a celebrity.
This is your punishment.
You fucked up. Now you
No,
go
they,
hang
they
out with
won
this-
they won the challenge, and that's their celebrity.
that's your fucking your prize.
Dude, what a letdown.
Go hang out with Carrot Top.
So on the Wikipedia page for this, I now
This makes you watch all of his old shitty movies, like Chairman of the Board.
He's pulling out props and shit the whole
Bro,
time.
they have like bottle service with Carrot Top.
I'm on the Wikipedia. I've seen this before. This was the movie where Norm Macdonald kept shitting all over it when the guest was there to promote it.
Okay.
It was Norm Macdonald was
yeah,
the first
that's right.
guest, and then the woman that's in the movie came on, and he just kept interrupting her interview to shit all over Carrot Top in the movie.
Oh, that's so good.
Maybe he was just used to people shitting on the Norm Show so much.
Why don't we just can we do like a modern I'm not saying crucifixion, not literally,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
can we kill Carrot Top and then
He's a big
and
guy.
that
Didn't he have
purges
a
all
roast
the
already
sins?
though on Comedy Central? I feel like
no,
probably
he
would've.
wasn't. No, he was on somebody else's roast, and people just made fun of him the entire time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was
I feel
like
like that was
one
like
of the
Justin
people.
Bieber's
yeah,
roast or
and they just
something like that.
broke his balls the entire time instead of the person actually getting roasted.
Yeah.
First of all, him trying to even critique Justin Bieber. It's like that. That's like a dad reprimanding his son.
He got real strong.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
Glad he's not here because he probably has an anger problem.
Carrot Top?
Carrot Top. Yeah, he's buff
He's
now.
like jacked.
Oh, I saw him. Yeah, that was when he was on Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah, he's jacked and made of plastic now.
Carrot
He's got a bunch
Top
of
is
parrot plastic.
55 years old almost.
God, Jesus Christ. Those varicose veins.
54.
Ooh.
All right. Well, I think we learned something.
What did we learn today?
We learned a lot of interesting things about John Cena's balls and that you should express yourself or else
Yeah.
you'll turn into an incel or
yeah.
I
Have
think
you guys watched The Marine?
no, is that that's the John Cena
That's
movie?
John Cena,
Yeah.
Was it a lot of punching?
I mean, apparently it's the only movie of his that's tolerable.
Okay.
Well, he was in that one what's her name, Schumer movie.
Oh yeah, he was in Trainwreck.
Yeah, and
he was actually pretty good.
He was
in
actually
that.
good in
Yeah,
that.
he was really
the rest
good
of the
in
movie
that.
was trash, but he was good. He was
Yeah,
funny.
he was good. It was a fine movie. I mean, it was just wasn't. It was okay.
I mean, it's an Amy Schumer movie.
Yeah.
She's kind of
It's like, watch me be funny being sad.
Yeah.
girls fart.
All right.
That's about her. Okay.
Hey, let's keep this objective.
Yeah.
Let's care.
We'll have to review The Marine for a critic episode.
That's not a bad idea,
It's not a
actually.
bad idea. All right, folks,
All
if
right.
you're still listening,
Yeah, we appreciate you, Ian. Thanks for coming on, man. Give a shout
Yeah, I
out to
hope
your.
it didn't go on too many tangents.
Nah,
Like
dude,
your
that's the
producer,
whole-
like
That's a
point out,
pod-
like
that's literally a
no. That's
podcast.
like a habit that my girlfriend hates. She's like, you always go off topic. Like you always just get on like one topic, then you go to another, you go to another. It's like just stay on one topic, and it's like, thank you. I feel like I've been here and I've been interviewed. You guys are fucking dope. I can't wait to listen to this back. Like this is gonna be fucking hilarious.
What's your Instagram again? What's the handle?
It is at IMACKS22. I had made it private, but I think I cleaned it up enough to make it public now.
Cool.
So I have like the poems are in the captions for most of them. the ones that aren't about like being in love. But even there's some poems in there about being in love too. You know, you never know.
Nothing to be afraid of.
But like, there's just like a lot of my early poetry's on there. If you want to see my old shit, you can go to my Tumblr. You can go to my Tumblr at Ianomoly, IANOMOLY. Yeah, I'm taking the GRE in a week. I'm not gonna do well. If it took me that long to spell. Ianomoly is a hybrid word. .tumblr.com. If you want to like wade through all the fucking Tumblr posts and like see the poems that got me published, hopefully. Yeah, they did. So like a lot of old stuff is on there if you want to check that out. Hopefully I can get published soon. I'm reading October 12th. Don't know the time yet.
B-Side
yeah.
Fest.
B-Side Fest,
Fe-
October 12th, the Troy one at Oakwood Community Center. I'm
Be
sure
there.
when that comes out, like I'm sure you'll see me up there because I'm like one of the few spoken word, if not like the only spoken word person being there. But
That's right.
I finally get to do the DIY scene, and it's all thanks to Dan Pauletti, which is the reason why I'm on the show. And I'd like to thank Andy and his brother Chris and like everybody else. And what's your name, bro? I don't want to forget the dude from Britain, Brendan. That's my roommate's nickname. That's my roommate's name. Not his nickname. That's his name. That's his name.
His
His name's Dan. His nickname's Brendan.
My name's Jonas. Yeah, black dude's no Weezer. Yeah, but like, it's not even like that. But like, yeah, like, thanks for having me on, and yeah, hopefully you guys like come out and like, hopefully I can get some more shit in your guys' hands. Like, you know, you can never give up on like being a poet. You know,
Absolutely.
like being an artist. So hopefully you guys hear this and get a laugh and like. Hope to check out the shit that makes you feel uncomfortable and cry, but like it's good poetry.
Catharsis, baby. Get it out.
All right, folks. We love you and be nice to each other.
Be
Treat each other like humans.
and be nice.
Be nice.